My name is Father Albert. I'm from a traditional Dominican community in Belgium, the Dominicans of the Holy Rosary. And I'm here at the Fatima Center to answer some of your questions. Is this Pope an anti-Pope or the Antichrist? Well, first of all, it seems clear he's not the Antichrist, or at least it doesn't appear that he is yet, but he has not sat down and set himself up as God, which is what the Antichrist will do. So I don't think you can say the present Pope is the Antichrist. More controversial, perhaps, is the question, is he an anti-Pope? That is he really a Pope or not? And that's the whole question of sedevacantism, because an anti-Pope is someone who pretends to be Pope and isn't really Pope. Now, this is a problem that's been going on for some 50 years now. The first sedevacantists started, I think, about 1967, because they started to realize things were going bad in the church, and so they came up with the answer, well, the Pope isn't the Pope. It's a very simple answer, but it doesn't really solve the problem. It even causes more problems than it solves. We can't go into great detail about it. We can simply perhaps say the prudent position is to say, well, it's certainly not obvious that he's not Pope, because he's there at Rome. All the cardinals are there. Everybody says he's Pope. So it seems, at least a priori, you would say, that this man must be the Pope. And there's a certain way in which the very fact that everyone accepts him as Pope makes him Pope. I know Archbishop Lefebvre used to deal with this question back in the 70s and the 80s. And that was one of his responses, because there were people at that time saying, well, the popes are doing terrible things, so they're not the Pope. They're not really popes. He would say, well, maybe, but even if a pope was elected in a false way, there was some vice in the election, once he is accepted as Pope by the Catholic world, even if there was a vice in the election before, he becomes Pope by this very this acceptation by the Catholic world. So even if, for some reason or other, Pope Francis is not, as there was some vice in his election, the very fact that after his election he has been universally accepted as Pope means that he is Pope. That's not really a reason you can say that he's not Pope. This sedevacantists, the classic sedevacantists, have other reasons to say he's not Pope, because they say he's heretical, and a Pope who's heretical can't be, someone who's heretical can't be head of the church. But those are arguments that are rather long and complicated, but there's always two positions you can have on that question. Theologians for centuries now have debated that point. Some say it's true, an heretical pope would not be Pope. Others say someone who's heretical would have to be declared heretical by the bishops before he's not Pope. It's a very difficult question. It's not clear. So because it's not clear, the prudent position is simply to continue and accept him as Pope, waiting until perhaps something will become more clear. But it's certain that if he's not Pope, that's going to cause a lot more problems again, because how in the world will we get a real Pope if he's not Pope? So it would seem that even though some of the things that, well, even most of the things Pope Francis seems to be doing is destroying the church, to declare that he's not the Pope is just going to cause more harm than we already see in the church. I hope that answers your question. Pray to Our Lady to enlighten you, to help you. May God bless you.